is Brian from Chasing Sound, and decided to go live today. It's been a little while. Took a couple weeks off, and been working on a lot of stuff. So, if you checked out the last live stream, was working on doing all the song challenge stuff for the month of May. We're finally in the last week of the song challenge, which is all about mixing. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule, so that's why I kind of wanted to pop on today. It's a rainy day here in New Jersey. Not much to do. Been either mixing, recording, or playing Zelda. I mean, if I'm being honest, doing the new Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, sunk some hours into that. Hey, a lot of people are here already. My favorite people from the Discord. Hello, Kirk. Hello, Rise. Actually, this is the first time that, out of years, that I'm trying to stream to both YouTube and Twitter, like I did last time. I usually just stream to YouTube solely, but I'm trying YouTube and Twitter. And for the first time, I am trying Twitch as well, just for fun, just to throw that in there and see if we get a couple more people just stopping by to talk about different stuff. So, as I said, I really just kind of wanted to continue talking about the song challenge, which is what I talked about last time we were doing a live stream. And it was like, if you haven't checked it out yet, it's on my website, chasingsound.com. Really what it's all about is getting a song done. If you've never written a song, or if you have been weird about writing a song in the past and just play with other people's music, the song challenge is all about being split up into 4 weeks. And just like a brief summary of that, the first week was kind of like just getting a general idea down, like rhythm parts and chords, maybe a structure. Second part was getting some additional parts down, like your lead guitar parts, maybe keyboards, bass, any drums that you might need. Just really preparing yourself for week 3, which we just wrapped up. Week 3 was all about recording your song. And if you go to that website, chasingsound.com, you'll see like tips and stuff that I was doing myself along the way. You could check that out. And then finally this week, it's all about mixing and getting your song out into the world on streaming services, maybe somewhere else. I'll talk about that too. Rise is saying, "Can I enter the next one?" That's the cool thing about it, Like there's other challenges I've seen, like productivity challenges and all that. And really, I mean, the best thing is you can start whenever you like. You can do 4 different weeks. Maybe that starts now in June for you, and just check out those posts. I think they're really helpful. They tell you everything that you would need to do to kind of like go from start to finish. And the good thing is, if you ever have any questions, I'm very always on the internet. I'm one of those guys that's very online, whether that be here on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or Discord. You probably can catch me somewhere. So if you ever have any questions and you want to ask me or some of the people in our Discord, it's a really great group. So I just wanted to talk today about some of the stuff that I encountered while I was recording and some of the stuff I encountered while I was mixing this time. I've been recording and mixing for most of my life, going all the way back to like 4-track cassettes with Tascams, and then moving up to stuff like a Roland VS 880, which was a digital 8-track, moving up to stuff like a Alesis ADAT, and then really going to school for recording and learning, how to work on a real big console like a Neve or an SSL, using tape and everything like that, all the way up to Pro Tools, which is what I use today, and what I've been using for the past, I don't know, maybe 20 years now at this point. But yeah, the recording part, I think the hardest part for me, my song is like a A-B section where there's just kind of like a one solitary chord and like a riff I'm vamping on. And then the second part is like a couple little chords that I'm messing with, give me more time to solo. And if you haven't checked him out here on YouTube or on Twitch, the guy Vince Janella, I met him a long time ago through one of my friends, Mike Friedman, and he's an amazing guitar player, and he does a lot of live streams here on YouTube. He actually did a month of live streams last month, and it was awesome. He went live every single day and talked about guitar stuff, and it was very inspiring. So I kind of like brought up to him that I was kind of working on like a C9 chord and like what I should use, and he just kind of like got his guitar out. I think he was using a Steve Vipia at the time, and he's like, "Hey, here's a couple ideas." And I didn't use those ideas, but just him telling me this is what I would try in regards to scales. Got me out of the box of just trying to shred the whole thing on minor, major, pentatonic. And there's a lot of that on the song, but I think it's good to bring your ideas to friends that you trust and that you might want to show your songs to. Again, the Discord is a really great place for that, where you can share your songs and kind of get them into the ears of other musicians who are really cool and have only provided like nice constructive feedback and nothing crazy like you might see on some other Discords. But that's why I like hanging out in there every day. But yeah, that was like the recording and the mixing. I mean, the biggest thing I'll say there was that I had definitely I had to check myself because I hadn't mixed a couple songs in a while. So the biggest thing I could say was just for you to take breaks and to go back to songs with fresh ears, because man, there was one day when I spent 4 or 5 hours mixing the song, and at the end of the night I was like, man, you feel like you can't mix anymore all of a sudden. Like you learn all this stuff, you try to engineer, and then I was like, man, I must have lost my ability to mix all of a sudden, because it wasn't sounding the way I wanted it to sound. It wasn't translating onto other speakers. Then the next day I was like, oh my God, this actually sounds really good. It sounds pretty good. And I know what I want to do to get the song to where it has to go. So that's one of the biggest tips when you're doing mixing. And like I said, week 4 is all about mixing here for this challenge. Aside from that, I would say, really just, there's 2 things. Trying to get your mix on as many speakers as possible. I'm using this old 2.1 system from Blue Sky. I don't even think they're around anymore, but it's a really nice mixing setup with 2 speakers and a sub. I also did some mixing on my iMac, which I'm streaming from here. I did some mixing, not mixing, but just listening on this speaker right here, which I got, I don't know, maybe a birthday ago or something, which is a UE Ultimate Ears Wonder Boom. I love this speaker. It sounds awesome. What else did I do mixing on? Headphones, of course. And of course, then I went to the car, and I tried to mix it there. Kirk is saying, I know exactly what you're saying. Kirk just posted his song into the Discord, and I think it sounds awesome. It's like one of these songs where it kind of takes you from literally like banjo type stuff all the way to like metal stuff at the end, and it's really, really cool. And that's the whole point of this challenge. I was so excited, not just for my own song, but to hear other people's music in the chat. I love listening to music. I have some crazy amount of music in my Apple Music collection, and I just love hearing new music every day. So it's one of my favorite things in life. And yeah, so Kirk's song is awesome. So if you haven't done the challenge, go do it. Do it in May, do it in June, whenever you have time for it. But one of the biggest things is like after you do it, you're gonna want to do it more, because it's so gratifying to actually get the song out into the open. The other thing I was going to mention about mixing is not only doing your mixing on all these different speakers, but also to use guide tracks. Like for me, I feel like my track was like a cross between like a little bit of Corey Wong-esque stuff and a little bit of Oz Noy. 2 players I really, really respect. And the mix was maybe more in the style of Oz Noy because it had keyboards. I have a rotary guitar in there, so it kind of reminded me of him. So I would like throw an Oz Noy mix in there and try to get as close as I could to that style of mix while I was mixing my own song. It allows you to check yourself while you're doing the mix. It's super, super helpful. I would always do it. Just get like a guiding band and a guiding song that you really want to emulate and throw that into your DAW for comparing. Kirk is saying, yeah, at 1 a.m. things seem like they sound great, but the next morning not so much. So for me, it was the opposite, right? Like it was where my ears were just so fatigued that I couldn't I couldn't mix effectively at that point. And like if I had taken more breaks like I was used to in the past, I think that night would have gone a lot better. And you start making mixed moves that don't make sense in the long run, like when you really listen to it the next day. So what you should do and what I have done is like bounce the mix often and just check it everywhere you can. For me, what was happening was the drummer that I sent the mix to, who gave me drums, his kick drum was really, kind of in the same zone as the bass guitar. And I had to do, if you heard the bass guitar, I had to do a lot of like unique cutting to some of the frequencies to make the kick really shine through, because I like that. It's a very groove oriented track. And while still letting some of the cool bass lines shine out. Like most of the bass, I'm not a bass player, but most of the bass lines are just kind of root note stuff. But in the B section, you'll hear the song. It kind of goes in this like walking pattern that goes up that I really liked. So I wanted that to shine. And I used compression on the bass to let that kind of like even itself out so you can hear those lines. But sometimes compression will hold on if you don't set the release on the compressor right. Sometimes the compressor will hold on to where you have too much sustain on the notes, and that'll kind of mask some other instruments like the kick drum. I also used high pass filters on a lot of tracks that didn't have a lot of low end information to clean up any junk that might have been in maybe like the rhythm guitars or the keyboards, to really make the stuff shine through. And I think that's another big mixing tip that I've been using for years that I think is great. Using low pass filters on a lot of tracks where that information's not needed, and then also doing more cuts to EQ than boosts. From all the engineers I've ever respected over my life, that's a common information that they have given me. They're like, oh man, I always cut rather than like if something is not bright enough, I'll always check something like in the low mids just to see if it's too muddy, and I can kind of get some of that garbage out of there, and really make it shine through. And then after that, I already sent the track to mixing, to mastering. Kind of made some EQ decisions there and some intensity decisions there, and I think the song is ready to go. I used DistroKid, which I hadn't used in a while. I used it a couple years ago, but I just haven't used it in a while, and they really make it very easy to kind of get your stuff across. If you look in the week 4 post, I put a link into DistroKid if you want to check them out. It just kind of gets your song into all the stores that you could ever want. Like, stores, I don't know how many people buy music anymore, but stores like iTunes and Amazon and all that, but it puts it on every streaming platform too, like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube. So, and it's not very expensive. And in my post, I have a code that I think you save like a couple bucks if you use it anyway. But it's already like, even for like the nicer plan, $40 a year, which I think is kind of worth it if you're releasing a lot of stuff throughout the year. And that's it. The song is coming out, like if I didn't say already, May 31st at the end of the month. And I'm going to try to promote it. And then, like I said, just kind of keep going and writing more songs. And, for a long time, I was like, lost that creative spark. I would just be practicing a lot, but not be putting music out into the world. And just doing this and collaborating with my friend on drums got me really excited to keep going. So, really looking forward to releasing more stuff. I think maybe the next thing would be, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe not a single, but maybe like a small EP, maybe like a 3-song EP of different styled tracks. And just getting more people involved if I can too, I know a lot of people listened to the track already. I kind of gave them a sneak peek and they were really psyched on it. They thought it sounded really good. And I would love to do more collaborations in the future. So, if you play any instrument, let me know. I'm always, looking to link up with other musicians out there. And that's it. That's just a couple things that I ran into during recording and mixing that I found. And these are things that have happened to me multiple times over the last couple of years. One of the other biggest things I'll say is that, it's so easy to get into this world right now. I'm using a Scarlett 6i6. Before that, I was using a Scarlett Solo, I believe. That was like $99. I'm using a Fractal. I mean, that's a little bit more expensive, the Fractal, but there's so many plugins that even sound good nowadays for like $100 or so. If you have a guitar, if you have an interface, if you have $100 or so for Pro Tools. That's actually something I didn't talk about yet. Pro Tools, finally, I've been using them for a very long time. Then for a couple years, I really didn't like how they were charging people. It would kind of like rub me the wrong way. So I switched over to Logic, got good at Logic, and then I found out that they were doing this new program called Pro Tools Artist. And Pro Tools Artist, I think it's about maybe like $100 a year. Man, for $100 a year, you can get one of the best recording programs out there. I was able to do everything that I needed to do on it in terms of tracks, give you a great plugin collection, some pretty good customer support. That's what I would check out. Most phones or Apple computers right now have GarageBand. That's a great place to start as well. If you don't have any recording software, if you have any Apple device, it's likely that you do, and it's free. I've known a lot of people get great stuff done from just GarageBand, and then once they want to move on to something better, they can kind of graduate from GarageBand up onto Logic. But yeah, again, the only real reason I'm a fan of Pro Tools is because I've been using it in and out of studios for so long in my life. I have all the key commands down so I can work fastest in it, and that's why I really like Pro Tools. I just like how it works with how my brain works. Maybe because I spent the time at a young age to learn how Pro Tools was. Thanks, Kirk. I really appreciate that, man. That's really nice of you to say. I was, when you start a challenge like this, when you do a challenge like this, you're like, man, I hope my song sounds pretty good too, because like you're the one putting it out there into the world. And sometimes, you run into a creativity roadblock, and I'm sure we could all think about that. But one of the things that I mentioned in our Discord was if you do finish a song this month and you post it to like YouTube or elsewhere, please let me know, because if you took part in the challenge, I would like to link to those songs in the 6 String Sunday newsletter, which I do every week. And just, see if we could get some more eyes on some of the eyes and ears on some of the songs that we have out there. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. And I'm hoping to have fun with it. What else do we got? I've been talking for a long time, but I'm just so excited about doing the song. I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. The song is called Between Daylight, and I think it even has a Spotify pre-save page already. If it does, I'm going to link it in maybe the Chasing Sound Twitter. But I just mentioned in the newsletter, I got a new newsletter going out tomorrow, and it's going to have some really good links in it. I'm excited. I try to get my favorite stuff from time to time, in these newsletters. Tomorrow, I'm going to have, as like one of the head links, let me screen share here. I'm going to have this link to this piece called 8 Pieces of Advice for Struggling Young Musicians and other creative people. I think this is great, not just for young musicians. I think this is good for any musician. If you've never checked out Ted Gioia on Substack, he is a great music writer. He writes on Substack. He writes books, some of the best music books that are out there. He has a great newsletter that goes out very often. And he was one of the reasons why I moved my newsletter over to Substack from another email provider in the first place, just because I liked what he was doing here, and I thought it was, really interesting. But these points here, like, focus on the joy of making music, make sure that you get better at your craft every day and actually enjoy the learning part of it too. I mean, for me, that's exciting. I love learning stuff all the time, like every day, learning new scales, learning new chords. I think that's why we have so many, we joke in the Discord chat, but why we have so many guitar instructional materials. Here's one, kind of like ties into what I just said: collaborate with other musicians and become part of the larger creative community. I think because of the pandemic, a lot of people, started to have to collaborate virtually, right? And for better or for worse, like I'm actually did that right now with this track. I got the drums over like a file sharing service, and we're all set to go. But I think, yeah, it's a great way to kind of like get get more music gigs and like hang out with more people, play live more, is to collaborate with other people. But yeah, he's a great writer. Go check him out, and yeah, go check out Ted Gioia on Substack. And Substack's pretty fun. Let me see if I can go to my own here just to tell you about a couple things that you might not have seen so far. So here's my Substack. I kind of just changed the layout of it recently, and let's see. Oh, sorry, I just realized what I was doing. Um, this is my Substack, which is chasingsound.com, chasingsound.substack.com. So you can see all the different emails that I've put out, and then you can check out a bunch of archives. It goes back a long time. It goes back on here about a year or so, but I've been doing the newsletter for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years at this point. And yeah, it goes out every Sunday, and has different links, different videos, different lessons, cool gear that I like and I'm checking out. So that's pretty cool. I mean, there's posts every Sunday that you can look forward to that has like the best guitar stuff. I mean, maybe it's overwhelming as a reader. There's a lot of different links in there, but this is all stuff that I really enjoyed throughout the week. So I think it's pretty cool. They just started this notes feature, which I haven't used too much yet. As you can see, only 2 of them, kind of like where it was getting started. But notes is kind of like Substack's answer to Twitter right now. I mean, I'm a huge Twitter user. I love that site. I got a lot done on it growing up. But yeah, this is kind of like Substack's version of notes. They also have discussions, like chat discussions. If you're not signed up to the newsletter, yeah, definitely head to chasingsound.substack.com. That is the specific newsletter site, and subscribe. It's free to do it. I'm not charging anything. I've been talking about it for a long time, but I really want to get a Patreon going, where people can support the newsletter, because, running the website costs money, taking time costs a little bit of money. So it's nice to get a little bit of money for the stuff that you put in. So I might do that. I've been writing about it for so long, about, ideas which I would do. And I think, maybe this song challenge kind of kicked me into high gear to refresh some of that stuff, because I got busy, just doing the newsletter for a long time. If you want to check out my main hub, this is just chasingsound.com. So as you can see, I have like all the Chasing Sound song challenge posts, talking about Chasing Sound Live coming back. You can check out some of the stuff I'm checking out here, like Guitar Pro 8, the picks I use. You can buy me a coffee. You can go to my store, where I sell shirts. And yeah, that's kind of it. There's a lot of cool stuff coming in the newsletter. There's a lot of cool stuff coming to chasingsound.com itself. And yeah, I'm excited to share you all with it. Hey, Rise says he's still here, but he's playing The Sims. Hey, I just, that's fine. I appreciate that. I love The Sims myself. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I actually nerded out and got this little amiibo guy here for it. So me and the kids are playing Zelda. But yeah, I think these live streams are fun, man. I always try to go on some of these live streams, check them out. And even if I listen to the live stream in the back, I mean, sure, not a lot of whole stuff is going on here, but yeah, actually that reminds me. Thank you, Rise. That reminds me. I do like to listen to some of these live streams in the background. I do want to go back to podcasting, because I used to podcast so often. There's just so much stuff going on between live streams, the newsletter, writing, a day job, kids. It's a little crazy, but I'm going to do my best. We'll see what happens. But Rise reminded me that when the song does come out, I do want to jump back here on a live stream, and it'll probably be the next live stream that I do. I do want to jump back on here on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and show you some of the riffs and some of the lead lines, because, in all transparency, I wrote the lead lines and I built them up over time. I definitely didn't play all those lead lines in one shot. I kind of like did it section by section, and I got things going. So the other day I'm like, man, if I want to play this song with the drummer who drummed on the song, I want to be able to play not only the riff, which I mean, that's already under my fingers, it's simple, but I also want to be able to play the lead lines and kind of like, play the chords and the lead with myself. So I went back to the song and I relearned my parts. I feel like, this is something that I hear like guys like Metallica do before they go out on tour, where maybe they played Enter Sandman 1,000 times and tens of thousands of times at this point, but they have to go over the solo. Maybe not that song, but other songs they might not have played in a while. I know Metallica's doing a tour right now where they're not playing the same song twice between both nights at a location. So, and they're breaking out some older songs, like everything from Kill 'Em All to Ride Lightning, Load, Reload, everything. So I know they have to relearn stuff, and the same thing for me. I just went back to the song and learned some of my riffs, and I think they're a lot of fun. I think they're like cool blues riffs to learn anyway. So I'm gonna do that on the next live stream. Just kind of like show you the main riff that for the C9 chord that I'm playing, and then show you some of my favorite lead lines that I wrote for the track. It'll be kind of like a end of the month celebration sort of thing to be excited about the song coming out, and other people getting their songs done as well. So kind of looking forward to it. But that's it for me. I think I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of this weekend. But thank you guys for stopping into the live chat. If you are on YouTube or Twitter or Twitch, let's see how that goes. I hope my internet connection held up for as long as it needed to. And like I said, yeah, I will be back soon. Let me just check real quick. I'll tell you when it will be officially. Next time I'll be back on the live streams. So yeah, today is the 20th of May. The song is coming out on a Wednesday, the 31st. So I will be back with you guys on June 3rd, most likely on a Saturday. And in the meantime, if you want to hang out, talk about guitar, head to our Discord. Go check it out. It is you can access it from the website, chasingsound.com. Go check it out there and join up. Hey, oh my God, Vince is here. Hold on, I can't. You know what? Because Vince is here, I'm not gonna stop the live stream. Hey, Vince. Hey, no, I wanted to talk. I was just wrapping up, Vince. I just got to the end of the show, but I was talking about my trials and tribulations of recording and mixing, and I actually brought your name up on the show, and how I kind of got on one of your live streams the other day to talk to you about the C9 chord that I was working over, and I said that you got I think it was your Pia out and played some cool riffs in the in F, and then did some C mixolydian stuff, and I said not that I took any of those ideas, but I did take some of the scale ideas, and I was like, all right, I got to go back and rather than playing just minor pentatonic or pentatonic stuff in C throughout the whole track, which there's lots of that for sure. But I kind of went back, and the next day I wrote a lot of more stuff for that song bit by bit, and I pieced it together. And I was just kind of talking about relearning the song here at the end. Vince, I don't know if you do this too, but what I had to do was, I kind of pieced that solo together bit by bit over the 2.5 minutes of the song. And then I was like, man, if I'm going to play this with the drummer that played drums on the song, I'm going to have to go back and relearn my leads. I want to make sure that I have those leads under my fingers for the next time that I play them. But yeah, I was just talking about that, kind of talking about recording and mixing and how easy it is to get into stuff right now using the Fractal, and that on June 3rd, which will be a couple days after the release of the song, I'm going to come back, do another live stream, and hey, Shockler1605, hello. Maybe my first message from Twitch ever. Hello, thank you for hanging out. So yeah, we're kind of at the end here of the live stream, but June 3rd, I'm going to be coming back, and I'm going to be doing a live stream just going over the riff of that song and over some of the parts. Maybe I'll show you, I have a really cool preset on the Fractal. I'm using the Fractal FM3, and what they did in around Christmas time was they had this thing called Gift of Tone, and every day a famous guitar player, whether it be a national guy or somebody on YouTube, would release a really cool patch for the Fractal devices, and I downloaded every single one, and I thought they were all cool. I used this one. Let me see if I can find it here. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but Tumble and Tumblr. Let's see. I might be able to. I just wanted to show you this. Okay, so it was from this guy who does a lot of presets. This guy, let's see. Let me screen share here for a sec. So it's this guy, Freeman. I don't know, Vince, if you know this guy or anyone else who uses Fractal knows this guy, but he does some FM3 presets where he does a lot of different, a lot of different presets for all these devices. And what I really liked was I believe it was him. I got to come back when I come back for the next live stream, but I believe he did this patch that I used, which was called Dumble and Dumbler, which is like a Dumble amp clone, and then it was using a Klon pedal before the amp, and it's basically my entire lead tone for that track. So I had a lot of fun with it, but yeah, just all the presets that are available. Vince is saying, yeah, he's awesome. Now he is really cool. Oh, cool, nice. He uses synth pads for the intro when you live stream. Yeah, that whole month of patches was very cool. I enjoyed it a lot, and there was one called Ice Cream. I think there was one from the guys from Bush, the band Bush. Steve Vai did one. Guthrie Govan, who's like my favorite guitar player of all time. Devin Townsend, who did one. There's a lot of good ones. Even the guys from Aerosmith. But yeah, the Fractal stuff is awesome. If you're on this live stream right now, you're either a friend of mine or you have listened to me talk about the Fractal stuff in the Discord chat. It's really, really good. I'm using the FM3 right now. I'm getting a lot of usage out of it. I used the AX8 before that, and it's just great. Seems like a company that really cares about their user base and is always releasing updates all the time. Like, I mean, it's almost like monthly at this point. They're doing either a beta release or an official release for all their devices, and the stuff sounds killer. So my track is just that stuff. I used that Dumble patch, and then I used, I think it was like a JCM 800 for some of the rhythm tracks. All PRS guitars this time. The Silver Sky, the PRS Mark Tremont, the PRS 7 Mark Holcomb, and then my McCarty, which is newer, and it's really good. And then I even used a Bassman model in the Fractal for my bass guitar, going right into my interface. No real amps. So that's why I like the Fractal stuff. The tones are really good. The tones are good for amps. They're good for pedals. And I feel like the consistency is always there. And that's like, for a guy like Guthrie Govan to really go with that, you don't have to worry. I mean, we always have to worry when we're playing in different rooms how our tone will be, but having that that consistency of sound night over night is really important to me. So go check out the Fractal stuff. Thank you to everybody for stopping into the live stream. I really appreciate you guys. Stop into the Discord. We're talking guitar stuff every single day over in there. And then, yeah, catch me in early June after the release of that single, and we'll go over some of the riffs and lead lines, and we'll have a lot of fun. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.